Are you a cosplayer or crafter? Do you glue a lot of stuff? Well, do I have some resources for you? I know it looks like it came out of the 90s, but This to That is an amazing website. Just as the name suggests, you pick a material that you're gluing one to the other. So say plastic to leather in this case. See, there's all these great options. And then you hit Let's Glue, and it gives you the type of glue for the job. They even give some tips and advice. If you really want to get into detail, Adam Savage of Mythbusters fame has a glue guide where he gets into detail about the different types of glue and what they're good for. Links will be in the comments. I hope you found this helpful. I'm back to talk about more glues I use for cosplay. Yes, there's more. The list never ends. In this edition, we're talking about gem tack. This one is pretty straightforward. It's my go-to for applying rhinestones, crystals, or sequins. It takes a decent amount of time to dry. They say to allow for up to 24 hours. What's also great about it is that it's non-toxic and it doesn't have a strong smell. Hooray! I used it here on this bra for Ariel. It survived getting wet in the pool. I would recommend laying down some wax paper underneath your project so if anything seeps through, it won't ruin your surfaces. Like this Kita cosplay that I made that had sheer fabric. I even used it for the gems in the wig. Let's talk about glues I use for cosplay, and we're going to start with the Frank's Red Hot of Cosplay Glues E6000 because we put that shit on everything. It comes out clear and dries clear. It's reasonably priced and it's easily available. It's a sturdy glue that works with a lot of different materials. It isn't for rush jobs. It takes several minutes to dry and officially 24 hours to cure or even more. The downside is its strong smell. The glue and the fumes are toxic, so you have to use it in a ventilated area and use gloves. I love to use it for finicky little things like all the glitter that I applied on the top of this headband. Or something like this where I have resin on foil on fabric for this project. Quick tip, use Vaseline on the cap to prevent it from gluing shut. Let's talk some more about glues I use for cosplays, this time E6000 Fabrifuse. It goes on clear and it dries clear. It does take a long time to dry. They recommend up to 8 hours, but it is so worth it because you can sew through this glue once it's dry, which is why it's great to use for appliques, patches, and trims. There's no strong smell or fume, but I would still recommend using gloves. My favorite use for this is using it with feathers and fabric. I coated this entire corset with feathers and E6000 Fabrifuse. On another project, I used mainly feathered trim for this cape, but I ran out and I was able to all hand apply the feathers with this glue. Hi, I'm MeltingMirror, and we're going to be talking about glue. Yes, we're still talking about glue. This time around, we're going to be talking about fray stoppers, so that could be something like E6000 Fray Lock or Fray Check. So you're using it to seal up a raw edge that you just don't want to fray. Something like this. Fray Check has a liquid consistency. It goes on clear and dries clear, and it dries quickly. It hardens when it dries, and it doesn't stretch. It has an easy applicator, it's very affordable, and it's easy to find. Fray Lock has a gel consistency, and it goes on milky and dries clear. It has a longer drying time, and it varies on how much you apply. It's a little harder to find. I buy mine at Michael's, and it's definitely more expensive, is the only downside. The big difference is Fray Check can run due to its liquid consistency, and E6000 tends to stay put. I use these all the time and mainly on trims. I use Fray Check on the organza of this costume, and Fray Lock to seal all the holes on my Rohan cosplay. Happy crafting!